Hello again and welcome to another episode of Balls and Brew, the flagship sports podcast here on the Morgan Podcast Network. My name is Rod Morgan. I'm your host. This podcast is produced by James Jamriska. Jimmy will be with us here shortly, but with me, as always, on these Balls and Brew journey of the sport is a man who loves Pizza King, pizza, Royal Feast, to be exact. His name is Chris King, and he's from North Carolina. Chris, hello.
Hello, Internet. Hey, Rod. And really, I was probably more of the Big Sur type of guy at Pizza King. That sandwich was the bomb.
That's true. You did eat more sandwiches than pizza, which is another reason why you're an absolute crazy person. But we're happy to have you talk NBA with us. And joining us is our producer, James Jamriska. I mostly refer to him as Jimmy Jam or Mr. Jamriska or James or Jim. I mean, how many different names have I given you, think, Jimmy, over the course of all these pods?
Oh, there's been quite a few. But guess what? All of us are here tonight
to talk about the Phoenix Suns, right? I mean, this is where we all thought we'd be after 2 games of the NBA Finals. We thought the Phoenix Suns would be up 2-0 and rocking and rolling on everybody, right? This is exactly where we thought we'd be. Chris, correct?
This is where I thought we'd be. You were a little bit different. You thought that the Clippers would make a comeback. You did pick the Bucks when I picked the Hawks, but I still said the Suns would win in 5, no matter who they played.
That's right. You were pro Suns, and Jimmy, I don't think you joined us and got a chance to make your NBA Finals prediction, but I did say I thought the Clippers would come back because I believed in their weird ability to just, when their backs are up against the wall, just win those games, and that didn't happen. Phoenix is here, and they sort of look unbeatable right now. Maybe we'll get into that, but what do you think?
They're the most complete team that we've seen in any of these rounds of the playoffs. They've got everything hitting. They have a big 3. They also have a deep bench, which isn't talked about enough. They've got a lot of different people that can come in and contribute. I mean, Torrey Craig, before he got injured tonight, did a good job. You know, I mean, they really have played well as a team, and they've been the best team in the playoffs so far. So yeah, of course they'd be up 2-0.
Yeah, they certainly do seem that, right? The depth of guys who can just hit shots, right? I mean, Chris, I hate to boil it down so much to be just a make or miss league, but I mean, that's just what's killing the Bucks right now. I mean, 78 points after 3 quarters just isn't going to get it done. The Bucks just can't hit shots. Yeah,
they've had a few quarters, well, really more than a few in the playoffs alone. I remember that series against Brooklyn, where they came out and won a game scoring 81 points, was it, or something like that? Like,
yeah.
They've had some stretches where they cannot buy a bucket and they can't shoot free throws. Those are 2 big portions of a game that can spell disaster.
Now, Jimmy, I don't want to pick on Giannis here because, I mean, he had 42, you know what I mean? Like, Giannis is doing everything he can, but doesn't his lack of ability to shoot free throws, though, almost hurt him in a way because, like, it just kills momentum all the time, and then sometimes he's splitting the difference and only hitting 1 or 2?
It hurts him, and it hurts the team, too. There was a point where there was a questionable foul called, and the Suns didn't challenge it because they knew they didn't need to, and Giannis missed both free throws. So, yes, it's killing him. He had 20 points in the third quarter alone, I believe, 42 on the night, like you said. Just imagine if he could hit a free throw, what he would do. So, yeah, he's hurting the team all around for sure.
And you knew after the Suns went 25 for 26 from the free throw line, and I mean, a story as old as time in the NBA, that you knew Milwaukee was going to get a bunch of chances at the free throw line, but unfortunately it was just Giannis, and that's just not going to get it done. And Chris, if we can't pin it on Giannis and we say the Bucks aren't hitting any shots, then who do we have to look to first in that instance?
Tonight, specifically, you got to look at 2 guys. Middleton, 31% from the field. Holiday, 33% from the field. Holiday took 21 shots tonight, made 7. Middleton took 16. 6 were threes. He only hit 1 3. Like, those guys got to do better. Middleton, especially, 11 points in a finals game is not what you want from him.
Jimmy, do we want 21 shots from Drew Holiday, or do we want more like maybe 15 shots from Drew Holiday and maybe he gives us like 15 or 16? Isn't that more where we want to live?
Yeah, but you also have to think Giannis needs some help somewhere. I mean, Giannis he was 15 of 22 tonight. Yeah, who else is going to do it? Because Middleton obviously needs to do better, but Middleton is not a number 2. Holiday's their number 2. I don't care what anyone says, and that's not good either. I because Holiday has been horrendous this
Wu-Tang would disagree with you. He was all pumped about Middleton leading the charge when Giannis was hurt.
It's not happening though right now.
It certainly is not. It certainly is not. And you can't, I mean, as much as Brook Lopez can do a couple of things, you can't rely upon him either. And I think that's just what we're seeing here. I think we're seeing that Dante DiVincenzo is out for the Bucks, and I think that's hurting their rotations just a little bit. And we're just seeing that playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. You can get away with stealing a lot of Brook Lopez minutes in the regular season, but you can't in the postseason. And the Bucks just don't have enough wing depth or enough shot making to just play the way playoffs are played right now. And Chris Paul is just picking them apart. And if Chris Paul isn't picking them apart, you got Jay Crowder's hitting shots, Bridges is hitting shots, Campaign's hitting shots, Johnson's hitting shots. You said Torrey Craig was coming in and hitting shots. I mean, these guys are all hitting shots for the Suns, and you're just seeing bricks coming up for the Bucks. I mean, I hate to make it that simple, but that's where we're at right now.
It is, and they need to find something. Hopefully, it'll be when they go home in front of that crowd, which they had about 50,000 people, I think, in the arena and outside the arena tonight.
It certainly looked that way, didn't it?
It was crazy. The amount of people, the amount of the fandom they have, but they've got to come up with something. Holiday needs to find his stroke, and it's not happening. They tried to put him on Paul a lot more today. Other than the third quarter where Paul was a little tired, that really didn't stop him, did it?
Yeah. Chris, are we going to, I mean, you hear the age-old adage that the NBA Finals doesn't start until a home team loses on its home floor, right? And we haven't seen that yet. So supposedly the Bucks are going to win 2 games here. I mean, are we going to see the Bobby Portis game because your role players are a little pumped up by the home crowd? Like where can Milwaukee get some offense in Game 3?
I think you got to get on Middleton. Middleton has to bring you some offense. But if you're looking for somebody to come off the bench and get you some unforeseen type points, I mean, you really probably got to look at Jeff Teague. You really want him to come in and hit the shots that he's going to take. He won't take a lot, but you want him to hit the shots that he's going to take.
If that's your best bet, you're in big trouble.
Well, it's either that or Pat Connaughton.
See, Connaughton, I feel so bad saying it about Pat here, and shout out to our guy Father Pete, right? We know that he's got a deep connection to Pat Connaughton, and we all do, right? On some level, I mean, he's a white guy out there getting it done in the NBA Finals, but I think there's far too many Pat Connaughton shots in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and he hit a bunch of threes tonight, and he's real athletic and can help you do a lot of things, but I just think you need to limit the amount of Pat Connaughton shots, and that just again speaks to how the Bucks are in trouble. I just don't know where they're getting offense, but I personally think at home they're going to try to play big. They're going to try to just lean into it the way they did in that Brooklyn series a little bit, Chris. I think we're going to see some Bobby Portis. I think we're going to see some post-ups to Brook. I think Giannis is going to pound the paint even harder, and I think they're going to look to score so many points in the paint that it's just going to overwhelm the Suns.
Well, one thing tonight especially, Pat should have been the only person shooting a 3 for Milwaukee. He's the only one of their players that hit more than one. He went 4 of 9 for night, which is respectable. That's what you want. But you need some other people to hit shots. And you're right about Brook. I'd like to see him do a little bit more than 8 points and 9 boards in a finals game. You expect to get a little bit more than that. And that's about what he's putting up.
I mean, Jimmy, is it too much for me to ask for a team to go big, or do you and a guy like Budenholzer, who's not real famous for making adjustments, is it too much for me to ask to say play into the one advantage you might have and just pound these guys inside? Because other than Ayton, you're looking at Frank the Tank Kaminsky, right? And this isn't the Badgers versus the Hawkeyes. This is the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Ayton's smart. He doesn't get into foul trouble. He plays good defense, lets people take the shot when they need to. But they've got to try something different because obviously, I mean, the 118-108, this game really wasn't that close throughout. There was a couple, like you said, where they got it down to 6 in the fourth quarter, but, they were just the Suns would get another 3. So they might as well try something different. Giannis needs to stop shooting threes. He was 1 of 5 tonight. Van Gundy had a really great comment. He said, just take 2 steps in and you're already, with Giannis steps, you're already at the free throw line. And that's where you live. Giannis was a beast down there today. Continue to do that.
Yeah, you definitely have to pound the paint if you're Milwaukee. Chris, let's give you some kudos here, right? Let's give you some bouquets here. You've been a guy who's caped pretty hard for Devin Booker, and I mean he's looked stone cold solid so far in his first 2 NBA Finals games.
Yeah, he has, and really throughout the playoffs, minus like a couple games that first series, but he has really shown a lot of poise. He's wanted the ball in particular times and kind of taken over the offense, especially when Paul's getting some rest. He is definitely one of the guys for the future of the NBA right now. I mean, he looks better than advertised. And we've been waiting a few years for this. We all knew he could score, but he's really becoming the well-rounded player. What did he get? 31, 5 boards and 6 assists tonight. That's great from your main guy.
And he's got that. He's one of those guys now to me who has such a pretty jump shot, and he's got such a consistency of making big shots now that when it swings to him, right, Jim, when it's swinging around to the corner or the arch there, you're like, oh, that's going in, and that's just, you don't have that feeling with anybody on Milwaukee. So I love what you said as well. Stop shooting the three if you're Milwaukee, but that's tough in today's game, isn't it?
Well, especially when, like you said, Phoenix is hitting theirs. Even over Brook Lopez, there was a nice shot off a screen that he just nailed it right in his face. But we also have to remember the Suns. There was a point there where Booker had 2 or 3 in a row and then didn't touch the ball for 4 or 5 possessions in a row. Phoenix cannot forget about Booker. When he is hot, he's got to get the ball. Chris Paul probably should stop shooting a lot of those threes in the third, fourth quarter when he's a little tired. Something I noticed that they need to look out for.
Let me say this too. We talk about the 3 ball, and the NBA is all about analytics, and it's better to shoot the 3 than a 15-foot jumper. But we have 2 teams in the finals that are probably the best in the league at that mid-range jumper. Milwaukee's great at it, and Phoenix is great at it. And I think that is something that has gone a little bit more unnoticed this year than in past.
Well, let's hope that resorts back to the median there a little bit that you're talking about, Milwaukee's ability to shoot the mid-range jumper well, because I would agree with you in the regular season. That's certainly, I mean, that's half of Middleton's game right there for sure, and Drew Holiday can work some of those out, and Connaughton's a guy who's not necessarily a dead-eye three-point shooter, so sometimes you get other shots from him on the wings, and I would agree with you, but they certainly are going to need those to fall in Game 3. Let's talk a little bit about sort of the coverage of the finals. What do we think? Are we getting a little too much Chris Paul storyline driving everything for you, Jim, or are other guys getting highlighted? What do you think?
I'm fine with it. I like the Ayton Paul dynamic. I know it's been done to death already, but I think that still is cool because you see it on the floor when Paul goes up to him and he's yelling at him, doing this, and Dayton's like, well, but I tried to do this. And they're talking that out. So I think that's kind of a cool dynamic there. Booker is getting a lot. He was interviewed after the game tonight as well. I just continue to see Booker getting more coverage. I'm fine with the coverage they're given so far because really the Suns, there are so many stories with the Suns as opposed to the Bucks where there really isn't that much right now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. With the Bucks, it's how healthy is Giannis and who's going to hit some shots, and that doesn't make for a sizzling pregame story. Chris, let me ask you this question. Which do you like better? Do you like a good old-fashioned Mike Breen bang, or do you like another emphatic Mike Breen puts it down? Which one of those is your favorite Mike Breen call?
Puts it down.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like puts it down an awful lot. That's the underrated Mike Breen, isn't it? I love Mike Breen calling NBA games.
Yeah, no, puts it down is great. It's classic.
And he does it. He does it for a guy to dunk it, and then he'll also do it every once in a while for a 3 because he doesn't like to just pass out the bangs for every big shot that happens. But when you do get a Mike Breen bang, you're always loving it. So I shout out to Breen. Van Gundy is always absolutely on top of it. I think the coverage from the game standpoint has been wonderful. Those of you real smart sport fans out there know that there's been some behind the scenes angst going on at ESPN with the sideline reporting and the pregame show, but we are recording this late night after the game, and we are going to choose to not talk about that here, but I just wanted to make mention that we do know of it, and we're just choosing to leave that to the side and talk about ESPN's game coverage of the finals. Chris, Jim, any stone cold solid predictions you want to make going into Game 3? Chris, we'll start with you.
I I think Milwaukee will get the win in Game 3. I think they'll feel a little bit pressure. They'll be back. And if they don't win Game 3, you may be able to write them off. It's going to be tough. And on a different note, as far as talking about ESPN coverage, I was highly upset with the Nathan's hot dog eating contest coverage. I mean, there Joey Chestnut was ready to break his own record, and then all of a sudden the feed starts cutting out, and at one point you get a blue screen. I felt more like a Zoom meeting than an ESPN broadcast.
Well, maybe they had the holiday guys running it since it was on the 4th of July. Who knows? I missed that one, but that sounds like a definite snafu. Jimmy, how about you? Any stone cold solid predictions you want to make to the Morgan universe here as we get ready to sign off on this post game? Game 2. I think Game 3 is on Sunday, is it not? So this one will definitely come out for the people before Sunday.
Yeah, we'll definitely get this out before Sunday. I've got Suns going up 3-0. I think the Bucks are demoralized right now, and it does set up for a nice Bucks win in Game 4 to go 3-1, so we can hear 2 or 3 days of coverage of the Chris Paul 3-1 again. So I think the Suns get the win 3-0.
Wow, I like it. Jimmy's saying the Suns go up 3-0. And then he's saying we get a 1 win out of the Bucks, and then we get Chris Paul 3-1 talk. That's good. I like that. That would make for a lot of blog folks to be happy. A lot of content creators could be happy. A lot of hot takes could be fired off on a lot of different shows. Where you Skip Bayless could certainly be sounding off. So I like what you're looking for there, Jim. Almost as if you're a producer at heart right there, just rooting for content.
Got to get that content in.
Speaking of content, let's get a quick plug here, Jimmy, for you and I. Next week, we are going to drop a Yeah We Know for the people ahead of the big Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to that episode.
Money in the Bank is always one of my favorite pay-per-views. It's one of the pay-per-views you really don't know what's going to happen until it does happen, mostly because they don't either. But it's going to be a great show. And we've got a lot to talk about, too. A lot going on in the world of professional wrestling.
Yep, that will be next week. Thank you so very much for tuning in this week. Mr. King, thank you so very much for joining us as always. And the last word will go to you.
Goodbye, Internet.